Good evening, everybody, and thanks for coming out. My name's Dave Perkins. I live over on Route 231. As Link said, until last year, I was in town government for 12 years. I was on the Board of Selectmen for 6 years, chair of the board for 2 of those years. I was on the school board for 6 years, chair during the first couple of years of the recession. Both years, we had 0% increases in the budget, and I'll talk about that in a second. And I'm here tonight organizing and kind of emceeing a group of pretty diverse people who are going to speak as to some of the data. We have retired teachers, we have parents, we have people that understand property values, we have a selectman who has done a lot of detailed work on costs. And we very much appreciate Mark's passion, but that's what it is, it's passion. You're being told you can build a school with geothermal and morphys ed and bells and whistles. You can save money, and it's really not that hard. All you got to do is put up $100,000 and we'll figure it out. And we have a different perspective because we feel very strongly that a vote yes without a plan and without some clear thinking and some clear solutions will obviously lead to problems with costs, will obviously lead to problems with the quality of our education, and most importantly, and this is really my pitch, it'll distract us from figuring out some real solutions, because we're in a little window opportunity now where we can figure some things out and do some of the things that Link is talking about, put some pressure back on the school board, come up with some solutions. If we spent the next year talking about leaving, it's the equivalent of saying it's time for a divorce. You don't get to creative discussions at that point. You get to a lot of anger. The bitterness that was talked about by Link becomes accelerated, and we want to watch that. So first of all, we're going to present data tonight that will show you that clearly withdrawing and creating our own school district will not save money. It'll create a tremendous amount of cost. We have a school in our town that is, its life is over, it's in rough shape, it would have to be replaced. We're not going to get on any state funding. The school board's tried that, and the state has said we're not funding a new school for NYMS. So the first thing is, from our own dollars, we'd have to build a new school. The next thing is the withdrawal statute requires that we continue to pay our share of the MSAD 51 debt. When Shabig left, and that was a big impact on some of the issues we're talking about, when they left and essentially got pushed out and then left, that didn't lead to efficiencies. That didn't make it better for us here. Shabig, you'll have to talk to them about whether that made it better for them. But they paid a heavy price. Shabig paid $3.5 million to buy its assets and to buy its way out of MSAD 51. Those will be the types of issues that this committee will be dealing with. They won't be getting a check for $15 million from the school district who says, thank you very much, here's your check, you know, we'll see you at the shopping center. They're going to be holding tight, and we don't have the leverage to force them to do anything. The other thing is, I've actually worked with towns who have had, I'm working with Monmouth right now, who is looking to withdraw. If you have a fully functioning school system in a town that already has the components, that's complicated enough, but it can be done. When you have to rebuild that from scratch, that is an amazing challenge for a small town. So, again, the optimism is fantastic. I'm glad that Mark thinks, you know, all these things can happen, but it takes a lot more work, it takes a lot more skills, and it takes a lot more analysis. And just to say, let's go talk about it, spend money, and by the way, send the message to your partner that we're gone. Think about that. That's what we're really saying. We think that would create significant problems. Let's talk about education. I think what I heard before tonight was the plan is to build a K through 8 or K through 5, and then our high school kids will go somewhere. We have 208 high school kids. Where are they going to go? I just heard from Mark, a few will go here, a few will go there, and a few will go there. What does that mean to your community when your kids spread to the winds? You know, there are problems in this district, but a lot of people are very proud of the Greeley history and the fact that they went through it with their classmates, that they grew up. That brings back young people. You look at Durham's experience. Durham sent kids here 20 years ago. Clark, you could tell me later what the time frame was. They got pushed out, and now Durham is still floating around. They were in Freeport for a while. Now they're doing a study as to where they should go. When you don't have representation and you're not part of a school district, and your kids are basically migrant students, that puts them in a very different place. You have no power. You have no power to set the cost. You have no power to control the quality. And all the issues we're talking about today, you know, the bitterness that we built up over time because we don't get our way as much as we would like, you have no voice. So that's a big issue. Now let's talk a little bit about the opportunities that I think we'll be missing. You know, right now, if we want to save the memorial school, this town could come together and save that school. The three of us would agree the town hasn't done that, and that's the problem. If we want to save the school, let's come together now, let's send that message to the school board, and let's fight for that. The selectmen aren't doing that, the town's not doing that. If that was our choice, let's go do that. It's not, this isn't going to solve that problem. We have to decide, is that the value that we have? That would be more costs. And this is a withdrawal process. There's also a school closing process. If there's a school closing process, we have the ultimate vote on whether we close that school. In the end, we can vote no. We pick up the additional costs of keeping that school, but we have that control even if we don't get our act together earlier. The issues of costs are important to all of us. What am I at? 7? Okay, I got 1 minute and then I'm turning it over. The issue of costs. The issue is we have no commercial tax base here. The selectmen did appoint a committee that's doing a report next week on the 18th, 7 o'clock at the town hall, the Economic Development Committee. I'm working on that. And the idea is to take Cassidy Pit, if the school does get closed, take the school facility and create some commercial base in this town. Cumberland's running way ahead on that on us. We haven't done anything. It's time for us to catch up and get focused on that. If we're going to spend $100,000, there's a real solution to be had there. Again, if we have no plan and we just say, hey, it's all going to be good, and by the way, Cumberland, we're out of here, we'll be back to you, the type of ancient bitterness that you've heard about tonight will be embedded. There's much harder work on the solutions, and we got to get at that. So now I want to introduce a few other people who are going to speak. First, Jean Chadbourne.
I probably should have given David my time because I do not have facts. I've read some I believe, some I don't. I don't think that they're true or valid. But a year ago, I signed this petition. I thought, won't this be fun to work with community members and dream and look at the feasibility issues? To have a school in North Yarmouth would be a wonderful thing. Though I know there are so many people, especially the young parents, who want out of here. They want everything up in Cumberland. I'm not there. That's not where I am. But we are not ready to take on anything like this. All of this talk that we've heard, and I love the talk. I love Mark's and Link's and what David has had to say, but it should have been done a year ago. It should have been started a year ago. This vote should never have been taken place tonight, or on election night. I feel manipulated that that it is put out when you know, for the vast number of people who are going to be voting next on that Tuesday. But where I really feel duped is when I signed that petition. I signed it under the condition that there would be a lot of conversation. There has been none until this came to a head and everyone realized, what in the world are we doing at this point to be voting up or down on whether we should leave SAD 51 or not? We haven't had nearly enough discussion. And some of the facts you hear, question. In the meantime, I definitely encourage a no, no, no vote on Election Day.